Shanghai. Painted as the model of China's booming economy and designated as a global first-tier city by the Globalization and World Cities Research Network, the city boasts the most extensive metro transit network on the planet, is the third largest distributor of scientific research in the world, and is listed as the highest grossing tourist city on the globe. After economic reforms were introduced in the late 1970s, Shanghai has made a significant economic turnaround and has become one of the highest seats in the land regarding finance, business, transportation, cuisine, and art. Oh, and most importantly, this is where Splinter Cell 2 was made. Released on March 23, 2004.
Pandora Tomorrow.
Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow sees the return of gruff hero Sam Fisher as he and his team embark on an all-new globe-trotting adventure as they track down a new bad guy, Suhadi Sedano. Sedano is a cigar-chomping, Che Guevara-looking ass militia leader once trained by the CIA. Now doing the usual freedom fighter stuff like executing suicide bombings and other such tawdry behavior.
I didn't see anything.
But did you hear something?
No. Just Pandora Tomorrow. And then a lot of gibberish.
Please don't kill me.
Huh.
I couldn't understand any of it.
Give me a buzz.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hopefully this guy gets his face on a t-shirt.
Separated from the others.
Absolutely. Kim doesn't open the door unless I radio him. We should break his fingers if we want him to talk.
Yes, maybe. But do it quietly.
Oh right, the game. Sedano is grumpy with the US for supporting East Timor and the perceived bollocksing this is causing Indonesia. Along the way, Sam discovers that Sedano has conceived of a failsafe for his little revolution, referred to as Pandora Tomorrow. The concept is that Sedano and his group, known as Dara Dan Doa, have planted biological bombs around the US, loaded with the smallpox virus. Every 24 hours, Sedano must call in a code to a secure line, and if he misses the call, the bombs will detonate. So killing or detaining Sedano is forbidden until the bombs can be located and disposed of. This is where Sam Fisher and the Third Echelon Sneakies come in. Along the way, we're introduced to new characters like Doug Shetland, a friend and former colleague of Sam's.
Douglas, it's been a while. Fisher?
Shetland would eventually play a much bigger role in the future of the series, but in Pandora Tomorrow, we see him aid Sam in his quest with the help of his private military company, Displace International. I'll discuss the ending later, but in summary, the primary antagonist is paper thin, but the story overall is much more interesting in Pandora, and the supporting characters keep things afloat.
I need these two nannies. I'm a big boy, you know.
Sam, on this mission we have to work closely with the local authorities. It's related to the bank account we found on Salt's laptop. A large payment was made to a charity cover-up for a Syrian terrorist cell operating in Jerusalem.
I knew the Penguin was a benefactor, and...
You'll have more details once you get on site, big boy.
Additionally, locations this time are more varied and interesting, with levels taking place in France, Israel, Timor, Indonesia, and even a level inside of Los Angeles International Airport. The first thing you'll notice is the game's graphics. Still running on the Unreal 2 engine, one of my favorite graphics engines of all time, Ubisoft has positively wrung blood from this stone, extracting every last ounce of this engine's potential on console. Texture quality, dynamic lighting and shadows, everything is a step up from the original Splinter Cell. However, more importantly to me, the atmosphere of the game greatly benefits from the increased use of earth tones in certain areas and fits with the overall theme of this game compared to the first. Although there are plenty of cold purples, blues, and black shadows to admire, it's the deep, rich oranges, yellows, and browns that differentiate Pandora Tomorrow's palette from the stark green, black, and white palette of the first game. You'll also notice that Sam's sneaking suit has been greened up a bit during levels set in areas with more lush foliage to sneak around in. It seems like a minor detail, but an important part of camouflage is obviously blending in with the environment, and nothing sticks out in the jungle like a 5'10" dude in a black rubber suit.
Well, bring out the GIMP.
In levels like the one set in Jerusalem, however, the atmosphere shifts back to the nice, cold, stealthy blanket of jet black shadows in an urban environment, occasionally punctuated by soothing blue lights along the path. Almost every level, save for LAX, is visually unique and fascinating to look at. Like the first title, there are some rough edges, of course, but it's amazing what a carefully crafted art style, doled out by people who obviously loved what they were doing, can do for the lasting enjoyment of a game. It's something unique to this medium, as you, the player, are allowed to explore this presentation at your own pace. And, as mentioned previously, I love the charm of these early Unreal Engine games. It's quality stuff. Okay, so the game looks lovely, but how about the gameplay? Does the shooting still blow? Is the sneaking still thrilling? More or less, yes to both.
Campers 0, El Beastador 1.
Playing Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow is like slipping on an old winter coat. It's comfortable, familiar, and well worn. It fits just right, and it won't let you down. However, you do notice some holes, and you know you'll need an upgrade sooner or later. I don't want to gripe terribly though. The gameplay in the original Splinter Cell is a really strong foundation to build on top of, and Pandora Tomorrow makes quite a few quality of life improvements that elevate it above the first title. The light meter is the first minor adjustment that I noticed. The meter itself has been simplified to 3 blocks, down from 5 in the first game. This adjustment itself isn't a massive change, but the diamond on the meter is a nice addition. When you're hiding a body in the dark, the diamond will blink, indicating that this is a safe place to drop the body to avoid discovery and potentially game-ending alarm states. Sam can now perform a SWAT turn to quickly bound from wall to wall, rendering him invisible somehow. It's pretty nifty, if completely gimmicky. Certain quality of life improvements are more valuable and actively speed up the pace of the game. Picking a lock is now made smoother by simply pressing a button to activate the minigame instead of needing to individually select the picks from your inventory to use them, which slowed the first game down. Additionally, Sam can open doors while holding a body in a fireman's carry. In the original Splinter Cell, it was a giant pain in the anus setting a body down, opening a new door, picking the body back up, walking over only to have the door close in your face by some mysterious force if you weren't quick enough. This new gameplay addition alleviates that frustration completely. Although, oddly enough, you can't flip light switches while carrying an enemy. Sam can reach down and manipulate a doorknob just fine, but go for that light switch and whoa! No way, Jose. Little visual touches, like Sam's new animation for healing, also boost the richness of interactivity with the environment. Sneaking, in general, isn't terribly different from the first game, but the stealth mechanics were compelling and sound enough to not need too rapid of an overhaul. Although when we move on to Chaos Theory, everything before it is pretty rudimentary. But Pandora's baseline stealth gameplay is as solid and effective as it needs to be. Gunplay, on the other hand, is still, well...
He made some modifications.
If you like to give it a try, I know a discreet place nearby.
You procure a slightly modified SC-20K AR in Pandora Tomorrow. You meet a support character in Jerusalem that helps bring Sam up to speed with the rifle. He leads you to a safe spot on the map, all the while you need to dodge patrolling guards and maintain stealth. It's a great touch in that despite having an incredibly powerful weapon burning a hole on your back, you are first and foremost a non-existent entity, not Duke Nukem. You get to toy with the non-lethal rifle accessories on your way to the last third of this level, where you really need to take the gloves off to survive.
Here we are. Feel free to play, but don't fire any bullets. I couldn't make it any quieter without sacrificing accuracy and range.
The nice part of the rifle tutorial is that it's completely optional. You could follow the gunsmith and do this segment, or pick up the rifle and sneak off into the Holy Land. However, you still have to contend with the same stiff, semi-robotic shooting from the first title. The suppressed 5.7 pistol makes its return, and is dependable for taking out cameras and lights. Sometimes.
Look at this!
Sam can now activate a laser sight to assist with accuracy, which is cool, but it has to be activated every single time you present the firearm, and enemies can detect it when pointed at them. This is a cool touch of realism since it would be visible to the naked eye, but all of these factors combined make this option pretty fruitless.
Fisher. Crucial for this operation.
Shooting the SC-20K is still much more accurate and deadly, and I actually really like ammo being scarce for it, discouraging a bloodthirsty gameplay style that would be in total thematic opposition to the character and his methodology. Well, at least until Splinter Cell Conviction, anyway. Either weapon you choose, the shooting is still stiff, and aiming acceleration and deceleration is still a little wonky and unrefined. The user interface in Pandora has also been streamlined a bit. Everything is now in a nice row, as opposed to multiple subcategories like in the original. Sam has also learned the skill of whistling. Technique. Anyway, you can use whistling to lure enemies into your trap, or to lead them away from your path. It's such a simple addition, but so effective, and requires zero equipment. Plus, it's funny to whistle right into your captive's ear. Pandora Tomorrow touts superior map design and contains more memorable moments all around. For example, early in the game, Sam is tasked with meeting an agency contact on the other side of a courtyard. The courtyard is being guarded by an enemy on Overwatch, as well as scanning spotlights. However, instead of the expected stay out of the spotlight trope that one may expect, it turns out that the guard on Overwatch has night vision capabilities, and you need to move inside of the spotlight beams to remain undetected. It's a great way to gently subvert expectations, and it's a one-off, so it doesn't overstay its welcome and become played out. Then there's the level in Nice, France, that takes place on a speeding Hesperia Railways train. This level is just plain amazing. Most games would likely have you start inside the train, but here you're dropped off on top of a train cart, and bam, let's get into it. The sensation of speed and particles whipping by your face is palpable. You almost can't help but squint. Sam needs to drop in and work his way up the carts, looking for his contact. Despite being on a train, the level gives you a few options on how to navigate. You can slink outside of the train carts, sneak straight through, or crawl along the bogie underneath while the tracks are grazing your shoulder blades. The level continues to throw unique curveballs at you as well, keeping everything fresh. At one point, you'll sneak through a passenger cart, and if you're spotted, they'll freak out and tattle on you.
There's somebody there.
Hello, conductor? Does anybody know where the lights are?
To be fair, if I saw a BDSM gimp with a rifle and 3 green eyes, I might be perturbed too. Or erect. In the passenger cart are 2 terrorists embedded amongst the civilians, which adds an extra layer of tension to the sneaking. Although it's not hard to spot them, they both have satchels and sunglasses on indoors. Are you a terrorist? Moving on. I wonder if this guy on the right is a terrorist? Nope. Sunglasses on inside at night? Wait. Where have I seen this before? Oh no!
Bill, I'm very flattered. I'm a big fan of yours as well.
Yeah.
For instance, The Rock knows you're the chairman and chief software architect
Does he?
of the Microsoft Corporation, a leading worldwide provider of software for the personal computer.
Yeah. It's still a good sequence, though. Finally, there's a segment where you need to locate your target in his private quarters. We don't know what he looks like, but we do know that he has a prosthetic leg. So using thermal vision to recognize the temperature differential in his lower extremities is a pretty clever method of incorporating the gadget into the game beyond its baseline function. In a neat wrinkle of the character's backstory, the false leg actually has a deeper story implication, but we'll get there.
Wake up, Poindexter.
All in all, with the exception of the levels set in LAX, level blueprints and story beats are quite a bit better than the original Splinter Cell. How does it sound, though? Audio is critical to gaming. The sonic experience is just behind gameplay in terms of importance to crafting interactive art. A game that plays well can last forever. Just look at Unreal Tournament 99, shown here.
First blood. Double kill. Multi-kill. Ultra kill.
Sure, the graphics look a bit shite nowadays. I mean, it's been nearly a quarter of a century.
Killing spree. Double kill.
But the fast-paced, arena-style shooting is crisp, fluid, and incredibly engaging even after all these years.
I've got the flag. I need some backup. Under heavy attack.
Unreal's memorable sound design works in concert with tight gameplay and brings me back year after year.
Double kill. Multi-kill.
Additional intel. It seems they have 2 more terrorists who have infiltrated the waiting zone in the office area.
Fisher, you cannot leave any terrorists behind. This will jeopardize the rest of the mission.
While not that lofty, Pandora Tomorrow continues to excel in the audio department. Sound effects, musical cues, and voice acting are on point. As mentioned in Part 1, some of the NPCs sound oddly fuzzy at times. Then other times it's crystal clear.
God help us, Fisher. That alarm means soft released the pox. The mission's over.
In the end, it's really not that big of a deal. Other audio quirks include characters having a totally incorrect dialect and accent. Take the scene set in Paris. There are two guards, Frenchmen, that literally say, "We are all Frenchmen," spoken with the least French-sounding French accents in the history of France. Here, have a goosey.
What? What? I thought you said something.
You're jumpy. Calm down.
How long do you think it'll take them to find the Frenchmen?
What do you mean, Frenchmen? We're all Frenchmen here.
I mean the Frenchmen.
A security guard?
Yeah.
I don't know. He must have found a pretty good hiding place if they still don't have him.
I hope the others don't leave without us.
All in all, the audio makeup is of a high quality, starting with the solid cast of actors.
Great work, Fisher. Now find out what's in it.
I could open it.
And you could play Russian roulette with a clip-loading pistol.
Where's your sense of humor?
We got a CIA analyst waiting with Cohen. Man by the name of Bellagio Sampler.
Bellagio Sampler?
You asked where my sense of humor was. Updates on your OPSAT.
Returning once more is Irving Lambert, Sam's old comrade and boss at Third Echelon. Lambert and Sam continue to have clever dialogue between each other, and their dynamic is further fleshed out in the sequel. One difference you'll notice is that Lambert is voiced by Dennis Haysbert this go-round, instead of Don Jordan, the original actor. You'd likely recognize Mr. Haysbert from his commercial work.
So this was my opportunity. That and my son loves the games. Allstate wants you to know how to handle an accident, because it could happen to you.
But to me, he'll always be Donald Breeden from the greatest film ever, Heat. Dennis, no! Anyway, he's Lambert in the sequel. And although he does a fine job, not to mention he holds it down for us baritones.
I think I have a distinctive quality. There are not too many people that have a voice like mine.
Nobody can top the one and only Don Jordan, who in my head will always be the real Lambert. However, I'm sure this had more to do with Mr. Jordan recording his lines for the third game in the series, which was being developed back in Montreal in parallel to Pandora Tomorrow. Also, Anna Grimsdottir is back, and she's super annoying.
The Osprey can't land in the village. Cohen's afraid of being too good a target. Cut the power from all the spotlights in the village. They'll fly as low as possible to pick you up at the end of the pier.
Jesus Christ, please be quiet.
John, calm down.
Oh my God, you're Sam Fisher.
Sam is once again voiced by the inimitable Michael Ironside, and he's even better in this one.
Called me. We have a problem in East Timor.
What kind of problem?
A big one.
Ironside seems to have found his groove with the character at this point, and his performance fits Sam Fisher like a well-worn glove.
I need information.
I don't speak English.
I'd be willing to bet your neck that you do.
I know a little English.
Good to hear. Escort who?
Nothing.
Escort who?
Nobody. I made a mistake.
Escort who?
I don't know his name. Somebody important to Sedano.
Although the character is written to be this battle-hardened, cool under pressure tough guy, through Ironside's voice work, you can hear moments when he is struggling to control not only his anger, but his internal conflict after he's ordered to carry out some ethically questionable acts in the name of good.
Tell me what I just did, Lambert.
The right thing. Hard work, but it had to happen.
Shinbet wasn't playing a straight game.
Killing unarmed women seems mighty close to terrorism.
Shut up, Fisher. Leave the ethics to us. Brunton, sign off. We need to talk.
Get this.
But it's subtle, and it's not ham-fisted. Michael Ironside is a true pro, and it shows here. Also, I love that he's still a smartass, and the script permits him the ability to alleviate situations with clever comedic timing.
Here's a cultural opportunity for you. The birthplace of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam.
So this is where all that peace and love came from.
Music in Pandora Tomorrow is composed in a collaborative effort this time, with music played during cutscenes composed by Jack Wall, who is also a co-composer of the soundtrack to the original Mass Effect, which is the greatest video game soundtrack of all time. 3 other musicians composed the remaining tracks in the game, which, much like the first Splinter Cell, sound great during the game and truly enhance the experience overall, but outside of a few beats and a track here and there, most of the music is unmemorable in the long run. Calling back to Mass Effect, multiple tracks from that game are seared into my memory, and I love listening to them to this day. Again, Pandora doesn't hit that mark, but the music is still really solid overall.
Be advised, hostile UAV.
Well, be advised, hostile UAV's coming. Whatever. Look at this guy! What the fuck?
So, I've mentioned the LAX level a few times in this video. We're moving into spoiler territory here, but honestly it's not that thrilling, but be aware.
Afternoon. What's going on? They usually don't check me until the next point. Damned if I know. Just found it in my task register. That's weird. I'll see you around. Yeah, take it easy.
I mentioned earlier that the story is more interesting in Pandora than in the first game, but only by a smidge, and the finale is pretty beat. Sam and Third Echelon slowly locate all the smallpox bombs around the US and they are defused. At this point, you capture Saldano alive in a terrible segment where he's flanked by his guards, and again, you have to capture him live. Anyway, eventually you cheese this section enough, capture Old Boy, and you think that'd be it. Insert LAX. The hook is that a group of terrorists, led by Norman Soth, your contact from the train in France, have a remaining bomb, and they plan to detonate it inside of Los Angeles International Airport to set off a mass virus exposure, and to then have people boarding flights pass it around.
Great. Grim.
As it turns out, Soth doesn't really give a shit about Indonesia. He's bitter about losing his leg while serving his country and wants to carry out revenge on the US of A. The basic framework and concept of the level is cool, as it turns out the terrorists have embedded themselves amongst staff in the airport. To differentiate friend from foe, your thermal goggles pick up an increased body temperature signature from the terrorists, as they've all just recently been inoculated against the virus. Kill them while sparing the innocents. It's a great concept, but the execution is sloppy and irritating. You're constantly getting busted by staff and travelers, and one alarm is game over. The final segment of the level, where you duke it out with Norman and his last few buddies, is painfully stupid.
Take it easy.
To top it off, the big final cutscene sees Sam Fisher taking the bomb case into the airport, where he leaves it next to 2 cops. Yes, really. The cops call in the bomb squad, who then place a gas-tight disposal chamber over the explosive and defuse it. Sam gets picked up in a Jeep, and that's it. That's how the game ends.
Whack.
Hello?
Another flaw that I needed to have a bitch about is this weird enemy AI magnetism that occurs occasionally. Sometimes, if an enemy is in a state of suspicion and comes to investigate a sound, the AI is programmed in such a way that they will conveniently magnetize to you and circle close, like a shark. I mean, look at this garbage.
Look at this! Whatever!
But, other than the occasionally odd audio, the suspicious rubber banding AI, and a wet fart of a finale, there's not much to complain about. The single-player campaign in Pandora Tomorrow is seriously excellent and improved upon nearly every aspect of the first game. Your preference is more down to which level set you'd like to explore, and even though I think I prefer the cold urban environs of the original, Pandora Tomorrow is much more creative and keeps things fresh, while eliminating some of the more pesky quirks from Part 1. There's one more big topic to discuss.
Oh, sorry about that. Got a tendency to gab.
Bellagio sampler?
Pandora Tomorrow introduced the competitive multiplayer mode, Spies vs. Mercs, alongside the campaign at launch. Typically, when predominantly single-player games try to tack on multiplayer, it can turn out really lame. But Spies vs. Mercs was way better than it had any right to be. I can't stress it enough. This mode was phenomenal, and I played the daylights out of this thing on the PlayStation 2, while my brother became quite adept with the Xbox version. There was not, and hasn't been since, anything quite like it. It's like this. 4 players would face off in a 2v2 battle, with 3 different modes to experience therein: neutralization, sabotage, and extraction. Spies on offense, Mercs on defense. Spies come equipped with non-lethal munitions such as chaff grenades for disabling electronics, flashbangs to stun the Mercs, spy bullets to track them, and sticky cams for surveillance and distraction. Their primary weapon is a sort of stun gun that shoots a taser round, useful for momentarily disabling Mercs or destroying small electronics like cameras, but can additionally launch equipment like flashbangs and chaff if you want to attack targets from a distance. The spy moveset is similar to that of Sam Fisher, and they even come equipped with thermal and night vision goggles. Then you have the Argus Mercs.
You know who the fuck I am?
Played from a more traditional first-person view, a la Rainbow Six, Mercs are the powerhouse, in total contrast with the sneaky spies. Mercs are equipped with mines, frag grenades, tasers, spy traps, and of course, good old-fashioned bullets. They even have a handy 6-power scope. Mercs can switch to a laser instead of an on-screen reticle as well. This heightens accuracy, but at the cost of detection, as spies can see the laser as well. The torchlight, or flashlight, mounted to the weapon is handy as well. I have very fond memories of knowing where a spy was hidden, them thinking they were safe, only to surprise them with the flashlight and start hosing them. Mercs also come equipped with an electromagnetic tracking visor that picks up electronic equipment in the environment, as well as a motion tracking visor that picks up when spies run across your field of view. Then, the ultimate move, the Bull Rush. This big sprint charge would clatter opponents into the ground like a football tackle, allowing Mercs to easily decimate the comparatively frail spies.
I will beat the shit out you with Charles, as a matter of fact.
Sadly, the multiplayer servers are no longer online. There are ways to play this on PC via X-Link Kai, but I've never tried. I do have friends that have actually gotten online multiplayer going for Splinter Cell Chaos Theory on PC, but evidently it was rare to have a full lobby. I suppose you could technically get a System Link game going, but that would require friends.
If I had one! Sorry.
can visit multiplayer maps and play around in them alone, but honestly, this was actually really just kind of sad. Not to get overly sappy, as I tend to, but I was flooded with a vast array of memories from nearly 20 years ago. And not only that, but I had a really, really bad urge to play this again, and simply cannot. It's like having a really, really hot girlfriend in Russia, online. Yes, I am beautiful Russian girl, and I love you, Chef. Oh, baby, I love you too. I want you to come over to America and be my wife. In a nutshell, Pandora Tomorrow had one of my all-time favorite multiplayer modes. It was honest-to-God clever, fun, and inventive. And it was before the advent of loot boxes, battle passes, and painfully discomfiting stooges propping it up while shilling energy powders. I can't overstate this. Spies vs. Mercs was brilliant and is sorely pined for. It also reminds me of someone that was met playing this very game on June 4th, 2004. Sorry, my mind tends to drift. We miss you, Solid.